The Supreme Court decided in favor of a Christian baker who nearly lost his business after refusing to bake a cake to celebrate a gay wedding. While this is a big win for Jack Phillips, the decision doesn't necessarily clear the way for other similar cases. Our Paul Strand explains why.
Those who stood with Christian cake maker Jack Phillips rejoiced at the victory.
We're very excited about the 7-2 victory for Jack Phillips. The court has given him a permanent win.
Lawyer Kristen Wagner represented Phillips, who'd been fighting this for 6 years and lost half his business over it.
It's been a long process, but he's very relieved to know that he will not have to violate his conviction, choose between his convictions and his family business, because that's a price no one should have to pay.
Phillips, who had served gays previously, refused to bake and decorate one special cake to celebrate a same-sex marriage. The couple sued, and Colorado came down on him like a ton of bricks, even attacking him personally. The justices suggested that's its own kind of intolerance.
The big mistake the Colorado Civil Rights Commission made, at least according to this 7-2 Supreme Court ruling, is it didn't protect the rights of Christian businessman Jack Phillips.
They said the state of Colorado repeatedly disparaged his beliefs, disparaged his religious convictions, used analogies to racists and Nazis in order to show hostility towards Mr. Phillips, and the Constitution does not allow that.
Colorado went too far. They denigrated the religious faith of Jack Phillips regarding marriage.
Where government stepped in and said you have to set aside your beliefs to fit into government's beliefs, the Supreme Court pushed back on that and said, no, your beliefs matter just like the beliefs of any individual within government. In fact, the Supreme Court chastised itself and said, hey, we don't set the conscience for the nation here, individuals do.
Regent Law School Dean Michael Hernandez.
The clear message is to the civil rights commissions out in the country, do not treat Christians with contempt. Do not treat them differently than you treat others that bring their perspectives into the public arena.
Plenty of gay rights supporters expressed their displeasure, with some resenting this being described as a religious rights case.
As Jews and as people of faith, we know this isn't an issue of the religious right versus the secular left. It certainly shouldn't be. And we know that this is not the true meaning of religious freedom. And as a Jew, as a person of faith, I take personally any attempt to use that religion to discriminate against others.
The court decided the case on narrow grounds, though. Rachel Lazar, head of Americans United for Separation of Church and State.
Today's decision is very narrow. It's only based on a ruling that the Colorado Civil Rights Commission was biased in its own findings. And the court did reaffirm that businesses that are open have to be open to all.
Meaning this era of prosecuting religious believers who might take similar action could continue. That led Anderson to suggest wording for the next decision.
What it should say is that disagreement is not discrimination. We can disagree about gay marriage without hauling each other into court, without the states punishing people who are simply acting on their belief that marriage unites husband and wife.
Ferris added this was a day to celebrate what's been won.
And the court said, no, religious people, religious business owners have their rights as well, and tolerance is a two-way street.
These days, folks seem to agree that believers have freedom to worship, but as believers shoot back, it matters so much more than just what you do in church. For your religion to be real and meaningful, it has to permeate every part of your life, and that includes your business. And with this 7-2 ruling, the justices seem to have agreed. Paul Strand, CBN News, reporting from the Supreme Court.